Welcome to the highlights of the women's under 48 kilo and under 52 kilos on the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam. So we're going to start off with one of the trends from day one was fighters getting thrown and trying to attack with newaza. So the first example, we see the Russian fighter cartwheel over her head. This time she lands on the head and immediately transitions to juji-gatame. So Kuvnetsuova of Russia was able to flip Eastern from Australia and finish off this juji-gatame for a very impressive win in Abu Dhabi. So it took her a while to get the arms separated. But eventually, here it is, there's the arm and there's the tap. We're going to see Kuvnetsuova again here. This time it's a case of third time unlucky. Look at that limp left arm. So Kuvnetsuova getting thrown with a big seoinage, leaves the hand out to try to block, trying to avoid getting the ippon. She ends up with a dislocated elbow. So in a moment we'll have a look at Salens from Belgium, who's also playing a similar dangerous but entertaining game. So we see the uchi-mata attempt. Salens comes over the top, transitions to the juji-gatame. Her opponent rolls, but the arm's extended. Salens makes some adjustments and gets the finish. And Salens continued on with this strategy in her match up against Boukli from France, but it didn't pay off for her. So Boukli was able to escape that one. I think there was a second one here. I'm not sure whether this is the ippon finish. Nope, this one she rolled over her head and a little bit overexcited in trying to finish that armbar. Could have taken a few extra steps. Boukli trying to catch her with a derby choke. Now this is the final sequence. This time as Salens tries to catch the arm that comes short. Here's the big throw and ends up flat on her back for ippon. So this is Giliazova of Russia. She got an ippon there with that uchi-mata. Now we're looking at Costa and Salens in the repechage. So Costa scored with a yoko-tomoenage. Salens came right back and she was able to score with this taio toshi. However, we had a somewhat flat finish, rather unimpressive finish here. We had a failed uchi-mata. Uchi-mata Gaeshi scores the waza-ari. Costa ends up on the bottom with the ref calling for the awasete ippon. I'd like to see the IJF allow things to continue after the waza-ari just so the judokas can show that they're in control of the position. So this is the bronze medal contest, Costa versus Giliazova. She didn't score with that technique I showed you a moment ago, but here she scores with the sumigaeshi. Next we'll have a look at the woman who had the most impressive gold medal run, in my opinion, of this weekend. So this is Scutto of Italy. She's the current world junior champion. Big utsuri-goshi ippon in her first match. Then she came out in the second match, had another great throw, but an even more impressive newaza finish. The drop sode was followed up with lovely turnover. She uses her leg to latch onto her opponent as she turns them, and the opponent submits here. There was a lot of pressure in that one. I tested that out on a training partner of mine after seeing this match, and He said it wasn't a choke, but he could tell there was no way he was going to be able to escape. And there was just a lot of pressure and discomfort around the ribs and abdomen. So Scutto has a pretty interesting newaza game. I might do a separate video on Scutto's newaza in the future. So this is the final. So I'm picking up a few seconds from the end of the regulation period where Scutto almost got a score there, almost won it right on the buzzer, but Boukli survived, but not for long, as very early in this golden score period, Scutto pulled off an interesting grip break, following it up with a nice ouchi-gari for the finish. So Scutto, very impressive in her gold medal run here. We'll have a look at some replays in a moment, and then we'll have a look at more of the 52 kilo category action. So Scutto pulling the arm behind her back, moving her head behind the arm in order to get the grip break. You see her duck under Boukli's arm, breaks the grip immediately, transitioning to ouchi-gari. If you rewatch it again, you can see the leg work with the left leg immediately moving into position to drive through Boukli. So let's have a look at more of the 52 kilo action. So Chelsie Giles, as always, very impressive in newaza, very active and aggressive newaza game. Likes to transition from attacks. So here we see her initially looking for the sankaku, now looking to get ude-garami, but the ref called mate. And here's the finish of Chelsea's first match against the Mongolian. I believe it's Bold from Mongolia. So she locks in the yoko sankaku after achieving the turn, wraps up the arm with the belt. Now I think she's looking to control the pant leg. Yeah, she's got that control. So extremely difficult situation for the Mongolian judoka. So an osai komi win in her first match. We'll have a look at more Giles in a little bit. But next we'll look at the disappointing performance by the Japanese athlete. So it's 3 tournaments in a row that the Japanese athlete has been eliminated in the first round. Now I was really surprised that this wasn't called as an ippon, but the match continued on for a few more seconds. It was right at the end of the regulation 4 minutes. So Nakauchi from Japan losing to Primo of Israel. Primo went on to win one of the bronze medals. Now let's look at another nice ippon win. This was Kaleta from Poland. And one lady who was quite impressive with her power was Bishrelt from Mongolia. She had 2 wins by Uranage. There's the first one. Now let's have a look at her match with Kaleta, who you just saw using sumigaeshi so nicely. Bishrelt again, scoring with the Uranage. So Bishrelt ended up on a collision course with Buchard. Buchard, of course, the Olympic silver medalist just a few months ago, now making her return to international judo. And as usual, the Buchard kataguruma proved extremely difficult for other judokas. I did wonder whether Bishrelt was going to give her a little bit more competition than she's used to after seeing Bishrelt's power. This match had a bit of a delay as Buchard, not surprisingly, ended up suffering from a nosebleed, but Buchard came right out and scored with a big kataguruma. straight after coming back from a visit to the doctors to get a tissue up the nose. Now here's Bishrelt's match where she won bronze. Okay, this is against Iraoui, who we saw earlier dislocating the elbow. So Bishrelt won bronze with that uchi-mata. Now let's see more Chelsie Giles action. So this is Giles' second round match. This one is against Russian judoka. This is actually Kuvnetsuova. This is before Kuvnetsuova got her elbow dislocated. I'm showing things out of sequence here. So once again, Giles fairly aggressive with newaza. Wasn't able to get a newaza win here, but she did pull off the win to move into the semi-final. So here looking to establish the uchi-gatame, trying to roll her opponent towards her back, nearly pulled it off, and eventually mate was called. I think Kuvnetsuova was able to slide her arm out there. Yeah, she chose the right time to release her grip. So this match ended with fairly seldom seen throw. Oh, lovely loop choke attempt by Giles there. So here's the finish. Little movement of the hands, wheeling Kuvnetsuova over. And here is the semi-final. So this is Chelsie Giles versus Primo Gefen of Israel. Once again, Giles very aggressive and willing to attack from any position, and she's got the opportunity. She's always looking for the newaza victory. Almost locking on the sankaku here. In fact, she did lock it on, but she wasn't able to complete the turn. Primo able to spread her base wide. Giles gives up the sankaku. Let's see if she switches to the uchi-gatame again. No, she's going for that front sankaku. So I believe this clip is right at near the end of the regulation time period. So near throw by Giles, tried to follow it up with sankaku attack. Looked like she has it completely locked on, just had to get the turn, but the bell went, so they went into golden score. In golden score there was a very near throw and counter throw. Giles countering Primo's kochi with a tanio-toshi. And I believe this is the final moment of this match. So I think it's a kosodogari or a tanio-toshi finish. And here is the final. So Chelsie Giles versus Buchard. This one actually was really quite a disappointment. I was hoping we might see a bit more action from Chelsie Giles on the ground, but really couldn't get anything going. So Giles ended up being disqualified after receiving 3 shidos. Buchard's aggressive attacks coming in low, looking for kataguruma and kankoku seo, and Giles just unable to come back and attack on her own. So Buchard takes the gold.